Hello, welcome to Crypto Reviews. My name is Claudio and this is Cryptochain, the channel where I do crypto news, reviews, tutorials and interviews. And in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing a very hyped project which is called Polkadot and are basically competitors of Cosmos, which is another cryptocurrency project that's doing really well at the moment. They're listed on Coinbase, on various big exchanges, etc. But Polkadot have not actually launched yet. They're very close to launching, so a lot of people are talking about it. But nobody's really explaining Polkadot in a simple way, not even the developers. I mean, I've watched a few videos to try to understand it myself. I've had to read through the website to try and get a good understanding of it, but nobody's explaining it in a simple way for a non-technical person, right, to understand, because not everybody's technical. So I'm going to try and explain it as simple as possible for you, basically breaking it down from the website to help you understand what it's about, why you should be bullish on Polkadot. As always, this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. It's purely my personal opinion for educational purposes only. So as we can see here on CoinMarketCap, now Polkadot, which has the ticker symbol DOT, can actually be tradable on various exchanges, as we can see here, Huobi Global, OKX, Binance, etc. But it is an IOU token, right? So it's not the real deal yet. That means that at some point, and the information is mentioned here, the tokens that can actually be traded at the moment will be withdrawable to your wallet so that you can actually own them. Right now they're fictional, you don't actually own them. They're on the exchange, but the exchange created like a fake ticker symbol to allow trading based on a speculative price. And the current price is $330.45 based on 10 million DOT total supply, which is going to change pretty soon. They've actually spoken about this a while ago. So basically, as you can see here, they're saying that DOT transfers will become enabled on the 18th of August, and that's tomorrow, depending on where you're watching this video, at approximately 4 p.m. UTC. Now on the 21st of August at 1:15 UTC, they're going to do the redenomination from the original sale. So new DOT will be 100x smaller than the old DOT, and this is the old DOT here. So there will be 1 billion in total supply, because this is what has been voted for by holders of Kasama and by the developers within the ecosystem of Polkadot themselves. The decision was taken to have 1 billion DOT coins, right? Because these aren't actually tokens, these are coins, because we're talking about the Polkadot blockchain here. And here we can see the ticker that says coin on CoinMarketCap, just to make it clear. And any project that builds on Polkadot is a token. You cannot have another coin on Polkadot. It has to be a token. Now let's go straight to their website to dig through and to basically break it down for you. So I'm not going to read everything on the website. I'm just going to try and keep it as simple as possible. This is on Polkadot.network. Now it is a platform for Web3. Now what are they trying to do? They're trying to enable a completely decentralized web where users are in control. Polkadot is built to connect private and consortium chains, public and permissionless networks, oracles, and future technologies that are yet to be created. Polkadot facilitates an internet where independent blockchains can exchange information and transactions in a trustless way via the Polkadot relay chain. So this is the keyword right here, because you're going to be seeing this quite a lot in many of my videos, in my upcoming videos, when I'm going to be talking about the projects that are going to be developing on Polkadot that are all managed by the Polkadot relay chain. So hence why this video is very important. I have done a video on Akala Network, which is going to be a project that has not yet launched on Polkadot. They are on the testnet of Polkadot, but not on the mainnet. So I'll explain why they're not on mainnet yet and what they need to do to become to actually migrate to mainnet and be fully functional on Polkadot. And of course all the other projects that are eagerly awaiting to get on. So basically it's to interconnect different blockchains, right? But let's first take a look at the team here. And here we can see Gavin Wood, Dr. Gavin Wood. He's the founder. And why is he a really important person? That he plays an important role in this game as well, in this project, right? Gavin began originating blockchain technology as co-founder and CTO of Ethereum, right? So this is very important here. So just the name Ethereum alone gives him a lot of credibility, right? And he invented fundamental components of the blockchain industry, including Solidity, Proof of Authority, Consensus, and Whisper. So the fact that this dude invented it, like he invented the fundamental components of the programming language that Ethereum is built on, that tells you how important Polkadot is going to be, right? I mean, this guy has decided to go all out, right, and work on Polkadot to make it innovatory. Now Gavin currently leads innovation on Substrate and Polkadot. He coined the term Web 3.0 in 2014 and serves as president of the Web3 Foundation. And we've got this guy here, Robert Habermeyer, who's also a founder. We've got Peter Chaban, who's also a founder. So these three guys are on the top. Now we cannot see the developers, unfortunately, but it is an open source project, right? So anybody can take part and develop. This is the cool bit here, right? There are ways to get involved. You can join their community. They're on Telegram as well, on YouTube, Twitter, and so on if you want to find out more information on that. But let's go straight into the technology bit, because this is the important part that you really need to get a good grasp of. And we're going to look at this first. So here's this diagram that explains, right? This is the relay chain. Okay, so this, you could think of this as like the it's like a motorway, right? Let's put it this way, right? You've got the motorway, which is the important route, right? You're traveling from one place to another. You've got all these different small roads connecting to the motorway, right? And coming off the motorway, right? So this is probably the best way that you could understand what the relay chain is, right? And of course, Polkadot is building, they are actually building on this relay chain, and they're making it functional. This is the important aspect of it. And here we can see these lines, okay, these three lines in different variations here. These are all validators, right? So this is the relay chain, which you can see here, the gray line with the white dots. Then we've got the validators, and the validators are basically holders of dot coins, right? These are the guys that have a say. Basically, they can become masternode owners, right? So they can decide to run a masternode for staking a certain amount of dot coins, and then they have a say. They can validate what is a good actor and what is a bad actor. Now, the parachains are these dots here, as you can see, these squares actually. These are all these squares here are parachains, right? So the parachains are, think of them as like blockchains, but not like a blockchain that already exists connecting to Polkadot, but rather a brand new blockchain building on Polkadot and connecting to this relay chain. Okay, so somebody that maybe he has some kind of idea, they've got some, I don't know, let's say they want to build a tokenizing car business or something like that. They want to tokenize their vehicles, I don't know, something like that, right? Or maybe even like a supply chain, right? So let's say they want to build a supply chain. Maybe they have the tools that they need to build a blockchain, but you know, it's very difficult to build a blockchain, right? It's not so straightforward. You have to get the right team with the right amount of skills and so on. Whereas with Polkadot, the cool thing is that they're providing all the tools you need to build that blockchain, and it's customizable. So that means you can build it for your own needs. And all of this is done on the Substrate framework, right? So the Substrate framework offers you that flexibility. So just to wrap this up, you can basically create your own blockchain from scratch using the tools available on the Polkadot ecosystem, which is built using the Substrate framework. That will then allow you to connect to the relay chain. Okay, so because of that, you'll be able to communicate with other blockchains if they're within this relay chain as well. You can share information, for example, between dApps and things like that. It basically interconnects blockchains, right? And this is all, of course, with blockchains that are new. But you may be asking yourself, or what about existing blockchains? Well, that's where oracles come in handy, and hence why we've got Chainlink, which is the biggest oracle out there built on Ethereum, that is going to help do that. That is going to help interconnect the blockchains that are already running outside of Polkadot and to connect them to dApps which are building on Polkadot using customizable blockchains. So I hope you understood that, just to make it clear, because that's very important to understand when we're going to be talking about future parachains. So now let's talk about parachains and move down here. Now, in order to include your parachain into the Polkadot network, you will need to acquire a parachain slot. Parachain slots will be sold in open auctions, the mechanics of which can be found on the parachain auction page of the wiki. So that is important, because here we can see that not anybody can actually run a parachain. They need a parachain slot. And what's interesting, and we're going to be talking about that in a moment when we go to the parachain slots auction, is that it is limited, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now we've got the Parathread as well, and the Parathread will not require a parachain slot, so you'll not need to engage in the candle auction mechanism. Instead, you will be able to register your Parathread code to the relay chain for a fee, and then to be able to start participating in the per block auctions for inclusion of your state transition into the relay chain. So that is pretty interesting, because maybe you don't want to be building a blockchain, but rather maybe you want to be building a dApp or something that doesn't need to be connected 24/7 and so on. So because of that, it doesn't require a slot. So you don't need to worry about engaging in that auction, right, to fight with the big boys. So you can just get a Parathread instead, right? So they actually offer you this flexibility, which is pretty cool. You can also build a smart contract. Of course, the Polkadot relay chain itself will not support smart contracts. However, since the parachains that connect to Polkadot can support arbitrary state transitions, they can support smart contracts. So for example, you've got a project like Akala Network. They're trying to get a parachain slot. They don't have one yet. So hence why they've got that IPO, which is the initial parachain offering, in which they're trying to convince DOT and Kusama holders to vote for them so that they can get that parachain slot. And once they get that, that could be for up to 2 years. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. And let's get straight into that actually. So here, how does the bidding work, right? This is the information on, so do check this article. By the way, you can find it in the description of this video, wiki.polkadot.network. But I'm going to go straight here. So how does the bidding work? So I've got the parachain slots. Slot A, which is for 6 months. Okay, range 1, range 2, range 3, and range 4. In total 2 years, as you can see here, they show it you, right? Each period of the range 1 to 4 represents a 6-month duration for a total of 2 years. Now, each parachain slot has a maximum duration of 2 years. Each 6-month interval in the slot is divided into its own lease period. More than one continuous period is a range. So you could have that, right? Bidders will submit a configuration of bids specifying the DOT amount they are willing to lock up and for which ranges. The slot ranges may be any continuous range of the periods. So here we go, right? This is why DOT is going to become very valuable, and this is why the price has actually pumped quite a bit. It used to be around $190, $180 not too long ago. It started pumping quite a lot when people started to understand the need for DOT in order to apply for those parachains, to win those parachain auctions for the parachain slots, right? So you need to lock up DOT in order for a specific range, in order to hold that lease of the parachain slot, in order to build your customizable blockchain and to become a parachain basically. And here we go. This is why Akala Network are actually airdropping ACA tokens to Kusama and DOT holders, because these holders who will be voting for Akala will actually have to lock up their DOT. They will not be able to sell them. If they see the price pump 10x, they won't be able to get out, right? It'll be locked for a certain period of time. So this is the disadvantage, but instead they will be rewarded with those airdrop tokens, which are ACA, and who knows how high the price will actually go. Now, of course, ACA is just an example, AKA, right? But there are other ones out there. There are many other projects that want to apply for the parachain slots. Now, a very interesting one here, right? So if we have a non-competing bidding, in this case, for example, there's one parachain slot available. Alice bids 20 DOTs for the range 1 to 2. Remember, this is for 1 year because range 1 is 6 months, range 2 is another 6 months. Bob bids 30 DOTs for the range 3 to 4. The auction ends. Alice bonds 20 DOTs and we'll have the parachain slot for the first year. Bob bonds 30 DOTs and we'll have the parachain slot for the second year. So very simple here. There's no competition whatsoever in this bid, so everybody's happy and they get their share. However, there is another option which is a competing one, and this is why it's so interesting to have this self-sustaining ecosystem, and this is what decentralization is all about, because you're basically letting the community decide who could actually get the parachain slot, right? This is really interesting. I really feel bad for not finding out about Polkadot sooner, to be honest, and not actually understanding what it's about, because this just shows you how important it is. Aside from the fact that we've got Gavin Wood, who's the guy from Ethereum, who has actually helped build Solidity and so on, right? But okay, let's get back to the point here. So for the competition version, right, we've got Charlie bidding 75 DOTs for the range 1 to 4. So Charlie wants the full 2 years, right, for the range, for that slot. Dave bids 100 dots for the range 3 to 4. Emily bids 30 dots for the range 1 to 2. So that's 1 year each, 1 year each here. And here we've got this guy wanting to bid for 2 years, Charlie, right? So now let's calculate every bidder's valuation according to the algorithm. We do this by multiplying the bond amount by the amount of periods in the specified range. So we've got Charlie 75 dots multiplied by 4, okay, in 4 different ranges. That would be 300 dots in total for range 1 to 4. Dave 100 by 2 for 2 ranges, 200 dots, and Emily 40 by 2, 80 dots in total for range 1 to 2. Now, although Dave has the highest bid in accordance to dot amount, when we do the calculation, we see that since he only bid for range 2, he will need to share the slot with Emily, who bid much less. Together, Dave and Emily's bids only equal a valuation of 280. Charlie's valuation for the entire range is 300. Therefore, Charlie is awarded a complete range of the Parachain slot, right? So that is the whole range of A, for example, which is ranging from 1 to 4 for the full 2 years. So this is really interesting, right? And they give you more information as to why they're deciding it this way and not to do it in a random order, because randomness is difficult on the blockchain. But this is really interesting because this shows you that it is going to be a self-sustaining ecosystem. We're going to be seeing more and more projects wanting to bid to get those Parachain slots and to run for the full 2 years in a lease, right? And we're going to see them trying to airdrop to Kusama and DOT holders. So now you understand why holding DOT is very important. Again, not financial advice. Personally, I don't hold any DOT. I wish I could, and I probably will at some point, but I want to see what happens to the price when 1 billion is in circulation, or not in circulation, but when 1 billion total supply will be available. And of course, the denomination happens. I want to see what happens to the price. It could likely pop further, right? Because people can withdraw to their wallets and stake, but who knows? So I'd rather wait to see what happens there. It could be too late, but if it is, so be it. I do like a lot of projects in the Polkadot ecosystem, and I will be covering quite a lot of them in the coming videos. So yes, this is pretty much it. I hope you understood what Polkadot is. This is a short description of what it is to try to keep it simple and to understand how the bridging between the Parachain and the relay chain works, and where Polkadot plays a role in this, and the importance of staking DOT, right? So now you can see that. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.